4.1 is coming alongside Shadows of the Shroud. In this dev diary, we get a look at the huge new planet view improvements, teasers of Shadow of the Shroud, reflections on the 4.0 release, as well as the huge 4.0.22 patch releasing today. Let's get into it. Hello Stellaris community. The massive 4.0.22 update went live this morning with the following changes and improvements. Now, I've covered these more in depth in the previous video, so I'm not going to go through them again. The too long didn't read is wilderness fixes and changes, civilian quality of life, a bunch of balance changes, bug fixes, AI changes, stability and performance, and UI, with more in depth in the video from last week. Now, the rest of the dev diary will look at the goals and provide a comprehensive look at the new planet UI that will be coming in 4.1 Lyra update alongside Shadows of the Shroud. Looking back and looking forward, the 4.0 Phoenix update was an extremely ambitious undertaking. That it was. Intended to lay the foundation for the future of Stellaris. Large foundational updates are very disruptive, and I drastically underestimated the amount of time it would take to get things back into proper shape following this one. Yeah. These systematic reworks, however, will allow us to expand and improve the games for years to come. This is only the beginning, so a lot of people are saying, Stellaris 2.1 doesn't look like it's anytime soon. Stellaris has several parallel development tracks. The Custodians on the core team remain primarily focused on improving and optimizing the base game experience. This structure proved especially valuable during this release cycle, as our partners at Abracam were able to step in and assist with the planet UI, something I'll be showing off next. Essentially, we have the Custodians that look at the non-new content, paid content anyway, and might look at optimizing the base game, improving stuff, or maybe going back to older DLCs to bring them up to scratch. They also have partners with Abracam, who released a fair few DLC so far, one of which being Grand Archives, and it looks like they're actually helping with some of the base game, which is it's pretty nice. Continuing to refine the systems from 4.0 remains at the top of our priority list, with the goal of meeting your expectations, as I said back in Dev Diary 361. Fundamentally, as the players, Stellaris is your game. Your feedback has helped make Stellaris the leading sci-fi 4X grand strategy game, and it's what will carry us into the next era of development. The Wilderness Open Beta was a success thanks to everyone who took part, giving us the chance to experiment while maintaining a quick release cadence over the summer. The 4.0.22 release was vastly improved because of your contributions. I'll always say this, the devs do clearly love the game. These big changes are always going to have massive issues, which is unfortunate. It needed a lot more time in the oven. Hopefully this Wilderness Beta, especially as it's being developed alongside players who were playing in it and giving feedback, hopefully we're getting close to what 3.14 was polish-wise. Because I do think the changes are necessary for the future of the game, and then we can actually utilize them. It's just getting it up to the standard of 3.14 polish has taken a lot longer. Internally, I'm currently experimenting with some major changes to ships with a focus on improving performance, which, if they look promising in our internal tests, I plan on bringing to you as our next open beta later on during the 4.1 cycle. Like the technology and combat open betas, this will let us try changes without disrupting the main branches and may be discarded or revamped if we don't like how it's turning out or if they cause issues. I'll keep you all updated on the state of the experiments and share more details in another diary. And like the wilderness changes, your actions will help determine whether or not we keep them. Yes, ships cause a lot of the lag these days. Pops, they're sorted now. Ships are the main issue because the game basically simulates all of them. It simulates the pathing, especially if you've got loads of fleets, and it just applies to all the AIs too, especially with the power creep and the amount of resources you can get compared to 1.0. You can get massive fleets, and if you've got hangars on all of them, and they spam them all out. One battleship is producing so many hangars that need to be simulated each for the combat to work. It's mental. Who knows what they'll do? But like it said, it's going to be in a beta. So if it's bad, or the changes don't work necessarily, it'll be scrapped. Like in tech, we had some rubber banding techs in a beta. It was not liked, but some of the tech changes was liked. And with the wilderness, it was liked, so it's kept. I really like the beta development. I'm not updating it loads, but still working on the game in the background. The 4.1 Lyra update. Next major Stellaris update will be the 4.1 Lyra update. Lyra represents the Lyra of Orpheus, who in Greek mythology enchanted both enemies and beasts with his melodies, descending into the underworld to rescue his late wife, Eurydice. Hades himself was moved by his song and let him take Eurydice with him on the condition that she walk behind him and that he never look back. His tale ended tragically, his faith faltering just steps from the surface, and Eurydice was lost to him forever. Making questionable pacts with potential malevolent entities felt especially fitting for a release paired with Shadows of the Shroud, which completes our arc of Ascension by exploring the Shroud and Psionic Ascensions. It's still too early to go into detail though. We'll be introducing Shadow of the Shroud's next week. That's huge. At this time, we do not have a date to announce for the 4.1 release. I still want to start talking about what's going to be in it. This is huge. Based on this tale, which they wouldn't write unless it had relevance to Shadow of the Shroud, it sounds like we might be put on missions or given quests, certain things we have to do. And if we don't do it, we displease someone and we get punished. That would be huge for Psionics. And like it said, this is completing the arc of Ascensions. We've really brought up machines, bio, and now Psionics. They're all going to be insane. And I do think for mid-game, these changes have been huge because they really change up how your Empire plays, which I really like. Psionics has fallen behind, except for when it was severely broken and got emergency patched. I'm looking forward to Shadow of the Shroud. Now let's get into the planet view improvements. I'm really looking forward to Shadow of the Shroud, which we're going to hear about more next week, so make sure to subscribe so you do not miss those dev diaries. Planet view improvements. There have been a number of requests to reorganize some of the information and buttons on the Planet View UI, and we tried to improve the general flow of some common actions. The new Planet UI is wider than the current one. Oh my gosh, yes. Making better use of the space available for most Stellaris players while still remaining usable on our lowest resolution. So this is a big thing. I'm not sure if they're going to talk about it, but they basically make it for I think it's 720p. I don't even think it's 1080. Now, I just upgraded to 4K. Everything is tiny on my screen. I put the scaling on and it does break UI elements, but I have so much real estate. Please let me use it and this will do it. On the Surface tab, this extra space is filled with the planet summary that was previously on the Management tab, and build queue is once again permanently visible, yes. Constructing a building will advance to the next open building slot. Oh, that's so good. And will no longer close the building list. Decisions and terraforming have also moved over to this tab. Huge. So it's quite funny how we've gone pretty much back to what the 3.14 planet looked like, at least the Surface tab. But I like this because this planet tab just took so little space and you're basically in that view when you're clicking it. You're not doing other things. As you can see by this GIF that might have been playing on the background while this was going on, it looks good. The building stuff is nice. The amount of clicks you had to do before was insane. This is why I love the devs. They're constantly improving based on feedback. This is just huge quality of life. The Management tab now contains a better breakdown of pop groups with a collapsible list. This is first grouped by species, then stratum, then individual pop groups. We've added a monthly pop growth summary that includes the growth, migration, and assembly that occurred the previous month, and pie charts have returned. Yes, pie charts throughout the planet view will also highlight their segments when you hover over different elements. Very, very interesting. So as we can see, we can highlight over the segments, got assembly pop growth, monthly pop growth. I'm so glad these are back. It is huge. Just lets you know what's going on these planets. You can also see the monthly pop growth, which is way easier to see, and you can actually see the workers and stuff by population rather than the other way around. So before it was like specialists, all of the specialists. You can see their ethics as well, which is very nice. The biggest change on the economy tab are better use of space. The addition of the summary in the top right and vastly improved tooltips. Hovering over job will now show full production information rather than partial. In the older UI, many tooltips only showed pop-based upkeep and production rather than combining their inherent values and their job-based ones. What can I say? Just better quality of life. Now, the only issue is that's a lot of scrolling still. I don't know how you fix that, but it looks a lot better. See, if you could just make this planet UI bigger, like just scale everything up by like 2 times, you could see everything probably on it. But that's still an improvement, I think, on the current system. And you can see what it's producing and the upkeep. The armies and holdings tab remain mostly unchanged, but with the extra space available, recruitment no longer needs to be pop-out tabs to list the available armies. Again, this has kind of gone back to what it was before, but it's way more clear. There's not as many pop-out things, which is very nice, and holdings looks a lot more cleaner. There are a number of other changes coming in 4.1, such as the addition of an organic trait to make food-consuming pops more explicit and allow us to simplify a ridiculous number of triggered upkeep checks, and continued bug fixing and work on stability and performance. So every organic will now have the organic trait. I like this. The lithoids and I think machines and maybe even Hive all have this. Essentially, when 1.0 was released, every pop required food because there was no robots or lithoids. But when they added more, they had to have a trait that overrides it, and now there's confusion. Essentially, all this does is help with lag because they're going to be reducing the number of upkeep checks It doesn't really change anything mechanically. It does mean you could, at least modders, make this organic trait increase or go down, like they could be gluttonous, could be a trait. It's mainly for performance, I reckon. What is next? Well, next week we will begin to breach the mysteries of the Shroud, revealing some of what's coming in Shadows of the Shroud and providing a dev diary schedule for its features. Oh yes, I can't wait. Make sure to subscribe so you get to see that. If you're getting that Stellaris itch, click this video here that YouTube's recommending you and let me know if you enjoy it. Goodbye.